All right. It is Thursday. Great to jump in with you guys. I have to remind myself every time at the beginning of these videos what day it is because sometimes I'm like, wait a minute. Where are we? What's going on? And listen, that is part of what I want to talk to you guys about today is stress and some of the crazy things that stress can do to us, like obviously mentally when we're like I don't know what's going on. What day is it? I can't focus on everything. That overwhelmed feeling that like gets in our head. But also like the physical side of it, because you guys are all here in this group because you're committed. You have got this desire to try to be healthier, and that might look like weight loss. That might look like trying to exercise more. It might be eating better. But whatever, excuse me, but whatever your goal is, um, if you are dealing with stress, specifically chronic stress, that's going to affect that. And so I want to dig into that a little bit with you today. And I should have had some water because I've got this thing in my throat. Hopefully, it doesn't sound too terrible. But let's jump right in. So if that's you, if you are in this really stressed out place, if you're here live right now, you can just leave a comment. I'm going to see that and just let me know how you're going with your stress because um, if you're living in that place of really high stress that you just feel constantly on edge about maybe it's the future, worrying about what's coming, or maybe your day to day is just so jam packed with different things, and maybe there's different variables that keep coming in that leave you like on high alert. If you don't feel safe, if you don't feel like your kids are safe or healthy, if you, it could be finances, it can be relationships, and it can just be an overall sense of I have all these things and all of these people who need me, and I don't feel like I have enough to give. That creates a lot of stress, and um, sometimes it's stuff from the past as well. Like I know for me personally, I dealt with a lot of like PTSD and trauma from different experiences that was impacting how I lived in stress and how I handle different situations. So just know, like, this is a really complex topic. I'm not going to be able to cover it in the scope of the time that I have today. But just know, first and foremost, if you're struggling with this right now, you are not alone. And there is hope, right? There are some really good things that you can do just on the day to day to help work through this stuff, and I am here to help. So, my story a little bit with this is stress is a hard one. Stress is a really hard one for me. If you're anything like me, you've got a ton that's on your plate. You've got kids who have extra needs. For me, that looks like medical issues. We have had to do a ton of extra stuff for my son medically. Um, it's not a fun one. He has Hirschsprung disease, and it's his colon, so it's feces and incontinence and all of that stuff that we deal with, and irrigations, and just right now, like he's working through issues at school behaviorally. I know a lot of you moms have a ton of like behavior issues with your kids that create stress, whether it is autism, whether it is ADHD. These are all just extra things that in my life have created a ton of stress. And not knowing mostly like whether or not my child is going to be okay, and feeling like I can't always help him even though I want to. That's our instinct as moms. That creates a lot of stress. Like, not to mention, I run a business and I help people all day. That's what I do. And I have other kids. I am married, and there's just a lot. And so stress is something that has compiled in my life. I will say that my stress kind of comes in layers, and maybe you can resonate with this. Like, there are times where I will feel okay, and then like one thing will come in, and I'll be like, okay, I'll figure this out. I'm stressed, but I'll figure it out, and then it will start to sort of layer up, and I'll hit this point where all of a sudden I'm like, I cannot handle one more thing because if I do, I'm gonna explode. And then sure enough, that one other thing comes in, and I'm like, everybody stop! I'm losing it. And And so living in that place, as that stress is compounding, there are things that we can do about that. But first, let's talk about the effects that that has on us and our health. So, stress is something that is actually a good thing. Like our body has this stress response that it goes through as a way to protect us. So you may have heard the term fight or flight, fight, flight or freeze, and that is actually a hormonal process that happens in our body when we come up against stressors. And that is a way that our body protects us. Like if you think way back into caveman days, right? My threat is that a lion may come and try to like eat my toddler. So lion comes, I see that, my stress goes up, and my response in my body is like heightened alertness. um like my digestion stops, my blood circulation changes, and I am on like high alert, ready to go. This is a hormonal thing. There's a hormone that our body releases called cortisol that is awesome. And cortisol is meant to kind of go up and down in our body, right? When stress comes, that elevates as a way to protect us, and then it should regulate back down, like when we sleep and kind of go through periods of rest. However, if we're dealing with chronic stress and like we're always stressed out, that cortisol level stays really high, like all the time. And what cortisol can do for us, what it does for us is it causes us, first of all, to crave more energy. So if you're somebody who you're stressed out and all of a sudden you start eating and you want to start eating, like I'm going to just raise my hand here because this has been a huge one for me. Like that's not your fault. That is not an emotional weakness. That is actually your body responding to this hormone cortisol. If you think you're going to have to like fight this lion and you're living in this place where I got to be ready to fight, it makes sense that you would want to like have more energy. And we get fast energy from carbs. So if you get stressed out and all of a sudden you're craving sugar, like it's not that you have a sugar problem, you have a stress problem. Um, it also causes us to store body fat. So I see this a lot with the moms that I work with. Your body will store, especially in your abdominal area, excess fat as energy, so that if the crisis comes, you have to fight, you have to run away, you've got this extra energy that's stored away to protect you. And so that abdominal fat, a lot of times, is just due to elevated stress levels. And so, there's all of that. There's fatigue, right? Our cortisol levels can lead to a ton of exhaustion and fatigue. And so, if you're in this place of chronic stress and you're kind of dealing with all of these things, it can be super frustrating when you're like, okay, I want to try to eat better. I want to get this under control. I want to lose weight. I want to be healthy for my kids. I don't want to feel weighed down. I don't want to struggle with my clothes fitting. I'm going to do all this stuff, and then it's like your stress actually blocks you from that. You can't lose weight, you can't control the eating. And so this is a really, really critical thing that we have to learn. And I have worked on this and am continuing to work on this in my own life. And I support moms with this in the Mom Restore system, which is my 12-week program where we look holistically at helping you lose weight, have better energy, and sort of set up this healthy lifestyle that you can have going forward as a special needs mom. So, here's a couple of practical things that you can do if you are living in this place of chronic stress. Some things that help us relieve stress and can get us sort of out of that crazy survival mode zone. First and foremost is exercise. And this is tough, I know, when you're in a place where you're like, I just don't have any time. And so it doesn't really take a lot of time, but moving your body counteracts some of the effects of cortisol. For example, one of them is your blood and the way your blood vessels actually restrict. When you exercise, it opens that back up. So you just immediately get better blood flow into your brain, into your body. It gives you energy. It helps release some of those feel good hormones that counteract those stress hormones. And so I suggest for moms 20 minutes a day if you can. If not, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Walks are really good if you're doing nothing. You may enjoy like dancing and putting some music on, or yoga, which is so great. Or I have created this series of 20-minute boost workouts for special needs moms that are workouts you can do right at home. And it's just a video, you push play, you go, and it's great for giving you that boost that counteracts stress. So movement is the first thing. The second thing is breathing. And this is going to sound silly, but if you're familiar all with uh, breath work, the way that we breathe really truly changes when we're stressed out. Our lung capacity is quite amazing. We should be able to breathe and really fill our lungs with breath. However, when you're stressed out, we start to kind of constrict in our lungs, and we take these really short, shallow breaths, and it's conserving energy. But this is from your central nervous system. You know, we live in this shallow breath, and so if you are in moments where you are struggling with stress, you just feel tension, taking a really full deep breath, like, you know, we do that when we're stressed out. Have you ever noticed that? Like, my kids do this because this is what I just automatically do when I'm stressed out. If my kids are doing something and I'm trying not to explode at them, I'm like, you know? And so when my kids get stressed out, my little Samuel with Down syndrome, he does the same thing. He puts his hand on his head and he goes, it's really funny. But this is, you know, that deep breath is a way that we can regulate our stress. And you can actually be intentional about this. This is one of the greatest things that I learned through practicing yoga, is that when you take some really full, slow breaths, especially if you can get it down into your stomach. I'm trying to show you what I'm doing with my hands right now, but even like putting your hands on your stomach, and as you breathe, you know, trying to get that breath down there, those breaths signal to your central nervous system that you're safe. And it's like immediately you just feel these waves of calm coming through your body. And like the other day, I had to stop and do this because I was dealing with some stuff with my son and just feeling so overwhelmed. I didn't even know what I could do. And I was like, okay, I can breathe. And I just sat there, I closed my eyes for like 30 seconds and just really focused on these slow breaths, and it changed everything. It's hormonal. It changes what is going on with your hormones. So we've got exercise, we've got breathing, and then a third component here is fun. Like, it's truly, it's fun. It's smiling. It is creating that little bit of space in your life for something that just makes you feel good. And I cannot overstress how huge this is, because when we as moms are just so overloaded and so worried about doing things for everybody else, we put ourselves on the back burner in so many ways. And part of that is like our fun, just like our enjoyment. And I love to remind moms like that it is okay for you to be happy, for you to be healthy, for you to have a little bit, even just a little bit of life outside of taking care of your kids and all of the responsibilities that you have. And if you are in a place where you are so wrapped up with your kids that you can't even imagine this, I know that sounds crazy and outlandish, but um, you need this, right? You need to be healthy, and part of that is your happiness and doing things that make you smile. And so for some of us, that is connection. I am an extroverted person, and so my happy place is doing things with other people. And I know for sure if I have not taken any time or space to do that in my world for even just a week, I feel terrible. Like, my stress, I just feel like my needs aren't being met, because that is a need. Um, you know, your happiness and that sense of um, doing things for fun, that is a need. It's not just a bonus. So even for me, it's just a phone call or connecting and doing something fun with my husband. We might go on a date night once in a while. For some people that are more maybe introverted, that might be something like sitting down and reading a book or a magazine, or watching a TV show just for fun. This could be like having a hobby Maybe you like to knit. Maybe you like to do crafts. Like, that is awesome. Do that. That is okay for you to have that time and space for yourself. And when you are able to smile, if you pay attention to what's going on in your face. I talked to somebody about this recently. I've got all these worry lines on my forehead because I will find myself in seasons just like living in this place and like softening that and smiling. How often do we smile and just have fun? Um, so just know that these are very practical, small things that you can do that truly have an enormous impact. And there's a lot more, obviously, where that comes from, but hopefully you found a couple of nuggets in this that will land with you. And if you are somebody who knows right now that you are kind of bogged down in stress, you're struggling to have time for yourself, you are dealing with low energy, you are dealing with, um, you know, the effects of not taking care of yourself, whether that's not eating well, whether that's not drinking well and moving your body. It's weight gain is a huge one. It's not all about being skinny, but this is a sign that something is off if you're living in that place. Um, you don't have to stay stuck there. I want you to know there is hope. I started with with the pandemic. I started working with moms who have special needs in helping them create healthy routines because it is truly so important that you are well so that you can take care of your kids and be there for them long term. So, what I offer for moms that are in that place and feeling stuck and ready to get some support and learn, like, what does it actually look like? What is it? What do I do first? How help me, Megan. This is my favorite thing. Help me, Megan. I'm not okay where I'm at right now, but I don't know what to do. This is what I do. So I offer a free Healthy Mom Breakthrough call. It's 45 minutes for us to just chat it out one-on-one about what's going on. This is going to help me to know what I can do to better support you and help you to know what best steps there are for you. And that may be working with me. I have a 12-week program called the Mom Restore System that is all about helping you to reset and move forward on this really healthy path as a mom. I have workout programs and I have a lot of different ways that I can support you. So if that's you, I want you to book a call with me. I'm going to grab this link really quickly. I knew this was going to be a long one too. My goodness, stress is just such a big topic. Um, Give me a second to grab this link. If you're still with me, you're amazing. Thank you for staying. Here we go. Healthy Mom Breakthrough Call. Yeah, so I love talking to moms on these calls because um, whether or not you come out of there like ready to work with me, that honestly doesn't matter with me that much. I mostly want you to feel supported and to feel like you have some clarity about where you're at and what you need to do, because sometimes we get so stuck in our head that we cannot, especially when we're stressed out, we cannot rationally and clearly think through what's going on, and we get stuck in these I call them self-sabotaging thought patterns where we feel like, well, I should just be able to do this on my own, I should just be able to figure this out, I need to do better, I need to stop being stressed, and we get so stuck in that. And this is where I help you. All right, here comes this link. I'm going to pop it into the comments. Yeah, so you can grab a slot to chat with me there. But just know that I'm here for you. I will help you. I know that there is a way out of this, and just don't stay stuck, right? You need to put your oxygen mask on first so that you can help take care of everybody else in your world. All right, that's it for today, guys. Have a great rest of the week, and book a call. I'd love to chat.